Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bor in Serbia. This district composes this hook shape in the eastern part of Serbia. Pretty easy to find on a map of Serbia. Very distinct shape there. And that shape is caused by created by the Danube River. You can see making this huge border here between Serbia and Romania. This district also borders Bulgaria just a little bit right there. There are some incredible, beautiful sights along the Danube here. This area along here is known as the Iron Gate. Big cliffs on each side, beautiful landscape, so on and so forth. And you can see the Iron Gate Dam right here. Iron Gate Dam, which we'll talk a bit about in its history. This area around the river is pretty low-lying. It's a beautiful plain. And then we get some really lovely mountains over here, part of the Carpathian Mountains. There's also lots of rivers and some natural hot springs over there as well. And then we have the capital, Bor, just down here. The administrative capital is Negotin over here. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but I'm doing my best. And I think that's about it for geography. Oh, duh. I forgot the Geographica National Park is along here. Along the river. Very important. Very beautiful place, the Geographica National Park, which you saw in my intro that I made for you guys. Can't forget that, because that's where our history begins. Around here, so we'll look at it on Google Earth, was a very small village called Lepenski Vir. I guess that's what we call it today. Don't think that's what it was called then, because that town was founded probably around the year 9500 BCE. It is the oldest known settlement in Europe. Full stop, period. Pretty remarkable, right? The oldest permanent settlement that we know of. It became uninhabited around 5500 BCE. So it's a very remarkable archaeological site. How we used to live. A mix of farming, but mostly like hunting, gathering, things like that. Pretty neat. So what people inhabited this area in ancient times? There were the Illyrians, later the Thracians, and then there were various Celtic tribes throughout this area, but the one important ones were the Dacians, who are more associated with Romanian history across the river here. This area belonging to the Dacians was conquered by the Roman Empire in by the Romans in 30 BCE, soon to be the Roman Empire. They named this area Moesia Inferior, and not inferior like, oh, it's not good enough, it's poor quality, things like that. It just means small Moesia. During the Roman Empire, in the year 103, Emperor Trajan needed to defeat the Dacians, and he needed to be able to cross this river, right? But like I said, it's very high cliffs on each side. So he decided to build a bridge across it, and that construction lasted between the years 103 and 105. Creating what was at the time the world's longest bridge, and it was pretty long. I think, if I remember, which I don't, but I think it's around, or was around, the same length as like the Sydney Harbour Bridge, around there, give or take. Which is pretty impressive for the year 100, right? And it lasted for a long time until it was destroyed about 150 years later by Emperor Hadrian, because they did not manage to defeat the Dacians, and they were just walking over the bridge to fight the Romans, so they burned it down. I'll show you all that's left of it on Google Earth. This area was part of the Bulgarian Empire by the 9th century. Bulgaria just over here. That lasted until off and on around the 13th century. It was sometime during that period that the Slavic people moved in, the ancestors of modern-day Serbians. Very famously, though, the Ottoman Empire would come and conquer this area, what's today Serbia, and most of the Baltic states over here. Not all of them, but a lot of them. There was a very famous battle fought in this district in 1442, led by Jan Hunyadi, a very famous Hungarian. Why am I doubting myself? Hungarian. Yes, Hungarian. Against the Ottomans. Yes, Hungarian. Because it was the Hungarian Ottoman War, so it had to be. I don't know why I doubted myself. I knew he was Hungarian. His name's Jan Hunyadi. Anyway, very famous battle there. But the Ottomans would win out, and they would control this area until Serbian independence. By 1878, they had declared independence earlier, but it was recognized in 1878. But I'm going a bit ahead of myself. There were many uprisings here from the Serbians against the Ottomans throughout their 19th century. 19th century. Some very famous revolutionaries coming from this area. And somewhat successful uprisings as well, until they were put down by the Ottomans eventually. But like I said, they would gain their independence by 1878. In 1904, the French built a copper mine over here, establishing the town of what is today Bor, and would eventually grow it to become one of the largest copper mines in Europe. And of course, we're going to look it on Google Earth. It is indeed very, very massive. During World War II, that mine was used as a work camp for Jewish prisoners, mining copper for Nazi Germany and the Axis powers. But World War II didn't quite touch this area like it did other parts of the Balkans and Serbia. Yugoslavia at the time, I should say. Interesting fact, actually. Going a bit ahead, jumping back and going a bit ahead, we're going to talk about the Iron Gate Dam, but there was a very interesting island in the Danube here, known as Adakala Island. And it was an island big enough to have a whole town on it. Beautiful buildings, mosque, so on and so forth. That island would be fought over a lot between the Ottomans and the Austrians, eventually the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And it would change hands multiple times between the two superpowers. During the Congress of Berlin in 1848, for the Russo-Turkish War, dividing up the spoils over who would take what, they actually forgot about the island. And so when a lot of territory here went to Russia and its allies, the island was still technically part of the Ottoman Empire, surrounded by its enemies. Whoops. And I think it would remain that way until the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. Just a technicality, just a little island was Ottoman. Unfortunately, though, that island is below the waters because the Iron Gate Dam in 1970, when it was built, completely flooded it. So that whole beautiful medieval town on that island is submerged. It's gone. It's very sad. Lots of interesting history there. Today, though, it just kind of seems like, at least around the river near the national park, it's all just very quiet life, beautiful countryside, all of that. Bor's a bit of a different story. For one, an interesting fact is that a lot of Serbian movies are filmed here, and it has the nickname Borrywood, which is great. The sad fact, though, is that the copper mine is very detrimental, not just to the environment, but to the people who live here. People are very concerned about their health and pollution and things like that. And we may not get an answer to those problems anytime soon, which is very, very sad, isn't it? Because I'm going to show you on Google Earth in a minute just how close this mine is to the town. It's basically just on top of each other because the mine was built before the town. So it's not the safest place to live in terms of long-term health, which is pretty scary. But for the most part, that is the history of the Bor District. The spine of my book is right on the line, so I tried to carefully trace it in. Right there. So, I think we should just hop over to Google Earth because holy moly, do I have so many things to show you. I hope I remember them all. Let's head over to the tablet. Here we are in the Bor District. Unfortunately, I cannot get Google Earth to highlight the full district for anything. It'll only highlight the city of Bor here, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to just tap the town so that when we zoom out to see exactly where we are in the world, be able to find it quickly. So you see Serbia here has this big hook sticking out. So that is the Bor District. It's very easy to find on a map. And here we are in the Balkans, in this kind of southeast corner of Europe, including Greece, Bulgaria, Albania, all the way up along the coast here along the Mediterranean. There's beautiful Europe. You can see the Carpathian Mountains here. Very distinct shape of this mountain range. Alright, so I guess we'll start off in Bor since we have it highlighted and look at how close these mines are to the town. Look at this huge pit here. Let me put it in 3D. This huge mining pit. And then here's the town. So yeah, not a terribly safe place to be. Here's a viewpoint. Let's check out the viewpoint here. Yeah, look at the mine. It is so huge, just right next to the city here. In the distance there too, you can see the some kind of big smokestack there too for it. And lit up at night. Yeah, this can't be good for the air quality, can it? You can see some more mining shenanigans over here and over here. It's an absolutely massive mining complex. Huge. Look how big this pit is. Wow. And when we zoom out, you can see that there's various other mines dotted throughout the area there. I want to see something. This didn't pop up. Banjica. Is that a banya? No, it's a waterfall. Just Banjica. A beautiful waterfall there in the woods. That's nice. Banjica waterfall. So let's look at some nearby mountains. Let's see. Yeah, we'll take a look at. I'm trying to remember the right slideshow to look at. I guess we'll start here. Come back. Why would you disappear right when I was about to tap you? There you go. So even though this is like a very industrialized place, there's still lots of beautiful green areas and nature up here in these mountain peaks. Look at this. A little bit of snow too. This was the slideshow I wanted to show you. Look at this mountain range back here. It's like Bob Ross-esque kind of mountain range. Looks like there was a fire here. Looks pretty cold on that day. How beautiful. Like a dragon spine sticking up. The sleepy dragon. So pretty. I bet it changes colors when the sun hits it at different times of the day too. Some shrubs there. and some wildflowers. Yeah, what a cold hike. Look at all the frost on the cold hike, I'm trying to say. It looks like they made it to the top, so that's pretty cool. The whole group there enjoying the view on a foggy day. Very, very cold there by the looks of it. Alright, where to next? Let's see if we can find this archaeological site. I have to remember where it is. It's right there. That was easy. Right here, Lepenski Vir. It's of course covered to keep it safe, but this was once a very tiny prehistoric village. Look at that face. Ooh. Old-timey house there. And much more modern. Oh, look at that face. These people look terrified. Goodness. Or very sad. Their little figurines there. Lepenski Vir. I assume that's what that says. Lots of incredible artifacts. There's some bones. We'll skip over that real quick. Sorry about that. Pottery too. There's the river. Yeah, Lepenski Vir. These worried faces. All sorts of tools. Look like some jewelry over here. There's the bones again. I don't want to linger too long on bones, but yeah. Pretty cool, right? This is the spot where European civilization technically began. Isn't that something? Here's the Geographica National Park. The beautiful Danube River. You can really see the iron gates here. Beautiful medieval castles along the river. There's a couple of them. There's the town we just looked at. The iron gates. It sounds like something out of Game of Thrones. It's pretty neat. I'm going to show you where the bridge once was in a second. Once we finish admiring the Danube River here. And all of the pretty sights to see along the way. I'd absolutely love to do a Danube River cruise. There's a POV of a Danube River cruise. Let's go check out where the bridge was. I believe it was over here. It's over here. Because we can see Decibel is over here, which means that the bridge was somewhere over here. Decebalus was a Dacian king. It looks like this is the viewpoint. In the 1990s, they carved his face into the rock here. Let's see if we can see it from across the way, even though it's in Romania. Look, there it is. He's pointing. Boy, there it is. I guess facing what was once the bridge, right? In defiance, we beat you. Pretty little church there along the waters as well. Very pretty. There it is. Let's look at it closer. We'll find a better slideshow. We have to go to Romania real quick. We're just going to cross over the border. Wow. So cool. And you can only see it from the river. You have to be on the river to be able to see it. Or I guess over across the way in Serbia if you have your binoculars. Very iconic Romanian site there. Alright, where is the little slideshow that had the marker? It's somewhere over here. Here it is. Trajan over the top. Trajan's plaque. So this is all that's left of the bridge, was this plaque that was carved at the base of it. Can't really see the writing there. Let's get a closer look. Isn't the river beautiful? That beautiful castle there as well. Oh, we're getting closer. Getting closer. There it is. That's pretty. Oh, that's a little better. So you can see this is the inscription right here. This was obviously added later so that it would stay preserved. But yeah, this was the inscription for the bridge. Like, I hereby declare this bridge, blah, 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 something like that, you know. And that's all that's left of this once mighty bridge across the Danube. Just kind of have to imagine it. Let's see, we can look at the dam over here. Trying to see if there's a Serbian slideshow. As much as we want to go to Romania, and we'll go there pretty soon. Bucharest is coming up. We're not going to Romania today. We just peeked over to look at the big head in the rock. Well, this looks like, goodness, they got tables and chairs all set up here. This looks like a lock. Pretty neat. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's right. This was like aggravating me because I kept trying to tap this while I was researching and nothing came up. Very annoying. Why would they put that there if you can't even tap it? Here we go. Iron Gate Scourge. Let's take a look at this. There's no pictures. That's probably why I was trying to tap that. Oh, here's a Tito Park. So I imagine this was built obviously during Yugoslavia. Tito was the leader of Yugoslavia until he passed away. But they definitely carved this into the mountainside so that the Romanians over there would see it and be like, "Wow, Tito's so cool! Like, look what they made." And that definitely worked. You can go see what's left of this Tito Memorial. It's all kind of overgrown. They should probably clean it up. They should preserve this, even though it's a time long gone. In fact, during, I almost said Soviet times, but it was pretty much Soviet. Although Tito was not really a fan of the Soviets totally, but he did embrace socialism. Very much so. Like, extremely so. Let's take a look at... Let me orient myself here. Why don't I see where I want to go? I've lost an entire city. Wait, oh, there it is. I was not far enough down the river. Nicotine. Which, like, if it weren't for Bor, this would be the capital. It was pretty much the capital of the district before it was created. And it's still the judicial capital of the district. This is pretty much where, like, all the history happened. All the uprisings. All of the Serbian cultural inspirational moments. Battles against the Ottomans. It all happened here. There's a couple of neat museums here, but I'm going to show you one. I think it's Krajina, is how you'd pronounce that. To once again see how life once was. These look like Roman graves out here. And lots of little archaeological things and some more modern things. Look at this beautiful rug. Old bed there, and piano, and portraits, and writing desk. On a snowy day. Some cultural items, a big cannon. And things from very long ago as well. It's pretty neat with spears and everything. This goes back to the beginnings of our known history in this area here. All right, I think that was all the things I wanted to show you. I remember looking at this or a slideshow similar to it. Yeah, big old rocks. I'm a huge rock fan, or a fan of huge rocks. I just think big old mossy guys like this sticking out the ground, that's just really neat to me. Look at the baby wildflower poking up there on the forest floor. Yeah, the kind of rocks that, like, back in the old-timey days, this would have some kind of legend behind it. It would be some kind of giant turned to stone, you know. Big rocks like that are the best kind of big rocks. But yeah, I think that was all the things that I, like, absolutely had to show you. So we can spend some time just poking around and find some natural wonders out here. Let's see what we can find. Of course, I don't know any Serbian at all, so, like, I don't know what this says. Vodopod. It's another waterfall. Oh, 20 images, let's look. How pretty. Goodness, it's almost like a fairy pool. It looks magical. List of what you cannot do there. You have to keep it safe and beautiful so everyone else can enjoy it for many, many years to come. Whoa, that's a neat picture. The countryside, there's some haystacks. Van Gogh would be painting that if he were there. Or not Van Gogh, Monet. Maybe both. Monet would be painting the haystacks out there. And then what's this? What could this be? Looks like a beautiful stream. Oh, that's cool. Wow, what a nice little spot. What was that? What does this mean? Tsibanya, doesn't that mean like a... Well, I know in like Russian it means like a bath. It also means scary cave. Oh my gosh, there was a scary cave somewhere. I remember I found it and I got all creeped out. It was near Bor. I'm also like annoyed because there's a UNESCO site just over here and it's out of bounds. And I want to show it to you because it's so cool, but not today. Not today. Let's see this. Here we go. I found it. The longest explored cave in Serbia, located in Bor municipality. We're good. Let's go to, look at this canyon. Goodness. Ooh. Oh wow, old-timey animal bones as well. Oh, this cave is eerie, isn't it? Oh, big precarious rope bridge as well. All my favorite things are here. I was reading about the canyons near here that some of them have not been explored yet, just because they're too treacherous to explore. I guess you need some experts to get into the canyon and dig around. Let's see. Yeah, big old mountainy. Let's see what this is. That's so pretty. What is this big hill? It has no pictures. That's unfortunate. Let's see what this is. A little house. It looks like a very cozy cabin. I want to get one more good slideshow. We'll close out the video. Let's see what this is. Nope. Well, this is... I think I looked at this. I think so. Anyway, this looks really cool. Let's look at this while we close out the video. Lots of snowy pictures. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Ski lift there. This is an ongoing series on my channel. And next we're going to be, actually, there's a place in the region we're going to next that's also called the Iron Gate, but it's a mountain pass in Algeria. I love talking about Algeria. It's one of my bucket list places. So you don't want to miss that slideshow. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. It also has some beautiful natural wonders like this. Ooh, fishy. If you're still awake, please give this video a thumbs up before you pass out, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Deliberately didn't say anything in Serbian so I wouldn't mispronounce anything. So I'm not going to say how's my pronunciation? Let me know, because I'm not going to go there. I guess I said a couple of things, or I tried to. Let's see, is there a slideshow here in the mine? Let's see. Not really. Not very exciting. This one's kind of neat. Hold it up at night. But anyway, I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good